Imagine waking up to the sound of rain, and finding your car covered in blood. Not bird droppings, not mud, blood. Welcome to the world we live in, where nature doesn't always behave like the polite, predictable background noise we like to think it is. Today we're diving headfirst into the strange, unsettling, and occasionally terrifying world of nature's WTFs. From red snow to raining meat, and from fish falling from the sky to skies that literally bleed, we're covering the phenomena that make you look up and say, "Nope, that's enough apocalypse for today." But before you run outside with an umbrella, just in case it starts snowing frogs, hit like and subscribe, or, a thundercloud might just follow you around for the rest of the week humming the Jaws theme. It sounds like the title of a B-list horror movie, but blood rain is very real. And honestly, it's been scaring people for centuries. The first recorded incident dates back to ancient texts from Greece and India, where red rain was seen as an omen of war, or sometimes divine punishment. Fast forward to 2001, Kerala, India, where residents looked up to see the sky crying crimson. Panic set in. People thought it was an alien invasion, a punishment from the gods, or maybe the start of the actual end of days. Turns out, it was spores. Yep, microscopic spores from algae suspended in the atmosphere. Rain collects these particles as it falls, and depending on what's floating around, you might end up with red, yellow, even black rain. But let's be honest, only one of those gets headlines. Scientists eventually traced it back to the alga Trentepolia annulata, which, explains the red color. But even with a solid explanation, blood rain remains one of those phenomena that, when you see it with your own eyes, you don't think, "Oh, cool, algae." You think, okay, who angered the gods this time? Let's head from fire to ice. Red snow, also known as watermelon snow, has been observed for centuries in polar and alpine regions, even as far back as Aristotle's time. It looks like someone blended up a Slurpee and dumped it across a glacier. But don't eat it. Despite the fruity name, this snow gets its color from another algae species, Chlamydomonas nivalis. It's a cold-loving organism that produces a red pigment to protect itself from UV light. When conditions are right, they bloom and magic is done. Your mountain hike turns into a scene from a Wes Anderson movie. The thing is, this red snow isn't just weird, it's worrying. The pigment absorbs more heat than white snow, causing glaciers to melt faster, so the snow is bleeding. And so is the climate. A poetic metaphor if you're into that sort of doom. You ever walk outside and think, wow, something smells like steak? Now imagine that thought being followed by actual chunks of meat falling from the sky. Welcome to Kentucky, 1876. In a small town called Olympia Springs, people were reportedly showered with what looked like chunks of beef. Some said it was lamb, others thought it might be bear meat. One brave soul even tasted it, because of course someone did. Theories ranged from the divine to the disgusting. The prevailing scientific explanation? Vultures. Yes, vultures. When these lovely birds gorge themselves, they sometimes vomit mid-flight to lighten the load. And if a flock does it at once, congratulations, you've got airborne charcuterie. The technical term, vulture barf rain, not something you find in weather apps. Yet. Now let's talk about spring. That time of year when everything comes back to life and then tries to murder your sinuses. In some areas, pollen levels get so high that it doesn't just tickle your nose, it coats entire towns in a fuzzy yellow haze. These pollen storms have become more frequent in recent years, especially in places like Georgia, USA, where cars, sidewalks, and lungs get absolutely smothered. And it's not just an allergy problem. High pollen levels can impact visibility and even mess with machinery. Mother Nature, it seems, has weaponized plant reproduction, and there's no EpiPen strong enough to stop a birch tree having a bad day. Here's another one that's not just Bible lore or bad CGI from old movies. Documented cases from Honduras, Serbia, Japan, and even the UK have shown frogs, fish, and once even worms raining down from the sky. The cause? Water spouts or small tornadoes that pick up small animals from lakes or rivers and toss them into the air, sometimes hundreds of kilometers away. The most famous is Lluvia de Peces, the rain of fish, that happens every year in Yoro, Honduras. Locals see it as a blessing. Outsiders, more like nightmare fuel. It's like Mother Nature ran out of clouds and started using seafood. Imagine you're walking along a peaceful beach when out of nowhere, boom, no thunder, no plane, no explanation, just a deafening crack that rattles your soul. Welcome to the world of skyquakes, mysterious booms that come from the sky with no clear origin. They've been reported for centuries, often near coasts or mountains from the United States to Italy to Japan. Some people thought it was God bowling, others blamed it on shifting tectonic plates, meteorites, or military experiments. To this day, no one's entirely sure what causes them. Are they sonic booms, gas escaping from under the earth, giant sky beings clapping their hands? All we know is, they're real. And just like that suspicious creak in your house at 2 a.m., they show up without warning and leave you questioning reality. Now let's talk about weather's version of a sucker punch, ice bombs. Also known as mega cryometeors, these are giant chunks of ice that fall from the sky, sometimes out of clear blue skies. We're talking 5-10 kilogram blocks of ice crashing into rooftops, roads, and the occasional unlucky car. How do they form? Nobody's totally sure. Some suspect aircraft, though many have occurred when no plane was in the sky. Others blame odd atmospheric conditions, where layers of humidity and temperature interact in just the right way to create a frozen surprise package. Imagine explaining that to your insurance company. Yeah, my windshield was shattered by weather. You know what regular lightning needs? A weird cousin. Meet ball lightning, a glowing floating orb of electricity that appears during thunderstorms and sometimes floats indoors. Witnesses have described them zipping through windows, hovering in midair, and even exploding without warning. And the science? Still kind of a shrug. Some theories suggest it's plasma held together by magnetic fields. Others think it's just hallucination caused by electrical fields. But too many credible sightings, including by pilots and scientists, suggest it's very real and terrifying. Because what could be more unsettling than fire that floats, has no rules, and might explode in your face? It's like the ghost of a Tesla coil out for revenge. We've covered a lot. Bleeding skies, raining animals, invisible booms, and floating fireballs. But here's the twist. These aren't just fun weather party tricks. Many of these bizarre events are becoming more common, and some more dangerous. Why? Because as climate change intensifies, weather systems become more unpredictable, extreme, and occasionally downright absurd. Take thundersnow, for example, real lightning during a snowstorm. That used to be rare. Now, it's popping up in places it never used to. Or heat bursts, where temperatures spike by 20 degrees in minutes overnight. Weird is becoming normal, and nature, it seems, is having a bit of an identity crisis. So, maybe the next time you complain about drizzle or a bit of hail, remember, it could be raining frogs or worse. Vulture barf. If you enjoyed this weather-induced existential crisis, and if you would like to hear more about some of nature's WTF moments, don't forget to like and subscribe, or the next cloud you see might not be bringing rain, it might be delivering salmon. From fish storms to fireballs, one thing is certain. This is the world we live in.